Welcome to the Her Story Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Kristen Mirchevski, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story TV and the Her Story podcast. This is Kristen Mirchevski here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating lady. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Hi, I'm Kristen Mirchevski. I live in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. I am 37 years old. Here is my story. My story begins at birth. I was born prematurely at 24 weeks. I had a 1% chance of surviving. I am one of a twin. I am the youngest of the twins. My brother, unfortunately, didn't make it. He was stillborn. I am my parents' miracle baby. Because of being in an incubator to survive with a high oxygen level, I developed scarring in the back of the eyes, which resulted in retinopathy of prematurity. And that rendered me blind. I thought I was blind, that I couldn't see. I ended up with a vision impairment.
So your formative beginnings were really tough. You are truly a miracle baby. You must have been absolutely tiny.
I weighed as much as a tub of butter, and I was as big as a ruler, 31 centimeters. So yeah, I was pretty tiny.
Wow.
The baby born dolls, if you've heard of them, they were quite renowned back in the day. My grandparents on both sides, mums and dads, had to knit my preemie clothes because they couldn't find any that would fit me.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah. Now, you did get a bit of your vision back. Tell us about that story and how that came about.
So the story that has been relayed to me many a time is that I was quite young, and a grandparent was holding me. I think it was my grandfather on mum's side, and apparently there was a glittery balloon at some sort of a function, and I turned around and tried to grab it. They realized that she could see, and the tears flowed endlessly. They figured out that I can see and that I'm not blind as was once thought. So it's definitely a happy moment for everybody.
Wow. So tell me a little bit about your formative years going to school. What age were you when you started school, and were the schools at the time equipped to handle the challenges that you were having?
Okay, so I was integrated within the primary school with other college students. It was a regular mainstream school that I attended throughout my whole life. So I never went to those specialized blind and low vision schools that they developed. My parents wanted me to have a regular upbringing, complete with scrapes, bruises, falls, regular visits to the doctors. I was 4 years old when I commenced kindergarten, and the school was not equipped originally for my attendance. They kind-heartedly wanted me to attend and went through the entire process of learning how to overcome certain obstacles. Like I couldn't tell the where the out of bounds areas were because nothing was marked on the floor. So teachers had to specialize in unique unique developments and how to sort of help me and assist me to identify these issues. They painted the areas with fluorescent paint to help me identify this. So basically I stopped getting in trouble for something I couldn't help. There was also teachers going to specialized courses to deal with somebody with a vision impairment, providing me details prior to learning, giving me access to large print books. I also had specialized classes where the Royal Blind Society back in the day, prior to its merger, they helped with everything that was required to integrate a student with a disability within the system. This also assisted, as I was the first back in the day, from year 2 onwards. I was also able to assist other students come forth and attend mainstream schools with already assistance being implemented for accessibility.
Wow. Wow. Now, when they talk about diversity in the workplace, you have done a lot in terms of going on to university, getting your degree. You've worked in different positions. Tell us a little bit about that. And again, how did you cope to get yourself through college?
Well, I have a bachelor's degree in social work and graduated with that. So that was one of my very big highlights of my life. From there, I have volunteered in many areas. A lot of the areas that I have volunteered in is related to assisting other people who are blind and low vision in the community, meet their needs. Sorry. And also I've attended Vision Australia's offices regularly and continue to do volunteer work from 2018 and onwards. Having experienced the volunteering side of thing, of that with social calls, which was for people that were blind and low vision who were isolated, remote and rural areas, especially during the pandemic. I would deal with that as they needed, fortnightly, weekly, or as required by the clients at the time. I assisted with facilitating groups. 2 I did myself. One was a women's coffee group. The other was a blind and low vision group that I did. They would meet regularly, monthly meetings for a short period of time there. And it enabled us to network, talk, develop friendships, because I also relocated from Sydney to Melbourne, interstate, and didn't know anybody at the same time. So I was keeping busy. At the same time, after that, after the volunteering aspect, I was also privileged enough to get asked to join Vision Australia's Graduate Start program. As of 2022, I have recently completed that 1-year program internship with 9 months experience within the company, non-government organisation, based on funds that they are required from public donations, as well as their other fundraising, carols by candlelight, seeing guide dogs where they get donations via Pet Barn, that sort of aspect. And this all assists people to help people like myself gain experience with guide dogs, canes, getting experience, learning how to integrate within the community, provide specialized equipment for those that can't afford it within the philanthropic area. So yeah, it has been great learning opportunities in that sense. And
so what would you say employers need to be aware of in order to support people with low vision or people who are blind in the workplace? Where do you see the gaps? I work as a diversity consultant, and a lot of times people aren't aware of the challenges and what actually needs to be done. You explained that when you were a child and you were in school, they took a lot of attention to make sure that you could get around the school and know where the boundaries were. What do you think needs to be done in the workplace?
Well, speaking from experience, so within schools they used to provide me with orientation and mobility training. So prior to me attending any place, I
Yes.
would have I would have the ability to walk around my surroundings, learn my environment. This also assisted me to identify any obstacles prior to me commencing the due date, the start date of school,
Yes.
or any jobs as well. The employment sort of sector, we applied that there as well, so it was interchangeable. We also had a specialized equipment brought in for me. Now I read and let's start with the reading. I read. I love to read. I'm a bookworm. Wholeheartedly, I'm a bookworm.
Okay.
So my books end up large print, either A3 paper, large print, which is what they used to be, audio format, which is another form of it. Braille is another version, but I do not use it. I don't read it.
Right.
I use audiobooks, electronic publications, so anything on a USB sort of like PDF format. There's also specialized software that I use on a computer, and I have magnification and a reader, and I use that regularly, especially as I was working part-time previously, and I
Okay.
use that very regularly on a regular basis. So yeah.
So the workplaces you've worked, you found that it hasn't been challenging, or they have accommodated your needs, correct?
So the last place I worked at, they definitely accommodated my needs. In some cases, it's trial and error. So as you go into a new place, it might not be equipped. So, for example, from my educational experience at university, their video magnifier, which is another form of reading, another reader accessibility equipment. You put the paper underneath, it looks like a television, and it has a camera underneath it. And you slide a motion of it's a slider motion of paperwork that you read, and it magnifies it on the screen. Now, doing that, it has various levels, contrasts, equipped for every person's individual needs.
Mhm.
They needed to update that for me at university. Otherwise, I could not have access to their local library services, which I needed for my educational experience at the time. Now,
Right.
yeah, so I had to enlist the assistance of Vision Australia at the time to help me update their equipment within the university for myself and others to be able to use it. Now it was updated, and many after me, after I graduated, have used the same facility now.
Fantastic. Now, you have had a few roles. You're now working as an integrity and data analyst. Tell us a little bit about that and what that entails.
So that was a part of my Career Start program experience for 3 months. I was there for exactly 10 weeks. My experience there was, majority of it was data related, Excel spreadsheets, um, email, it's like corresponding with emails, learning about Outlook shared files, their folders, and maintenance. A lot of meetings were implemented at that point in time, so my time management had to be quite on point. More
Mhm.
meetings than I was used to, I should say.
So that
So
would have been a bit challenging.
it was a little bit because I had difficulty with some technological issues at the time. I was based primarily from home due to some uh, accessibility issues on their part. It was environmental. I attended the office, did a walkthrough, did the orientation and mobility, challenge experience, and I found out that it wasn't equipped for me or safe. There was more hazards, and due to being a heritage building, it needed to be put to the corporate sector and HR, and that's what they did. So my attendance on that one and only day, actually assisted them to make and implement changes in the future for other people to be able to have the full experience of attending on a regular basis work and experience the office experience as well. So I was primarily based at home at that point in time. It was very challenging, I tell you. I'm used to a flexible sort of nature.
Yes, yes. So have you found that you have been discriminated by in any way, looking for work, going to college? Have you experienced that before?
For college, no. For university, I got into my first choice, which was surprising, to be honest. The rest was double degrees, so kind of good. But in regards to looking and searching for employment, yes, I have been discriminated against searching for employment. A lot of it was I don't drive, so basically I go to the movies, I do everything else like everyone else. Sometimes I'll have the lights on when I do watch movies. Another example would be I catch transportation, or I use NDIS funding to assist me to get around places if and when required, if family members are not an option. So I had the opportunity to attend a group session, which was an interview for a potential organisation's volunteering experience at that point in time, because they ran a really great support group sort of process, and also it was within the intake field that I wanted to enlist in within my social work degree. They would refuse to take me on because of my vision impairment, because I wanted and needed and knew what I needed, and when I expressed my intentions and what I required due to my disability. So there are many forms of a magnification program software.
Okay.
I use one particular type, and it has changed and developed and advanced over the years. Now, I don't have training for any other type. This is high level sort of reader software with integrated magnification level. So it does both. Some have one perspective of it, which only does the reading or it only does the magnification. They only had the one available option within their service, and that's what they were trying to give me. When I said no and I refused, and I asked them what I needed, which was also going to be provided for me by Job Access, and also provided by the government scheme for people with disabilities, they would not have had to pay for it. I already came with it, basically. They still refused to take me on board. That was quite disheartening, as they are quite a reputable company and organisation. I will not name.
That's interesting. It must be very frustrating, especially if you were eager to go to that particular program.
It was quite disheartening, to be honest. Definitely disheartening, as I have previously heard that there were other people prior to me that did attend, and they did have vision impairments and all blindness, and they were fortunate enough to get in. Unfortunately, I did not have that experience. But you live and learn.
Yeah, and the thing is not to give up. It could just have been the person who's in charge at that time, or just keep applying. It sounds to me you're very persistent, and you don't seem to give up very easily. So that's a really good attitude to have. Now, when we talk in diversity about intersectionality, we're referring to all aspects of a human being. How have you found the many parts of you integrating into work, family, expressing yourself when you're volunteering? There's many aspects to you that some people might look at and think, oh, we won't include her because of this, but you've got the ability to do what needs to be done. How do you navigate that space? How do you negotiate so that you are included?
Well, I learned how to be assertive, which is something that I was not quite many years ago. I've learned how to have a voice. I've learned how to uh, have that backbone, I guess, and develop it more so, and advocate for myself. Because if it was trial and error a lot of the time. It's well, that doesn't work for me, so how about we try another alternative solution? I try and problem solve, and by doing that, help and educate others, and maybe they can see the person that is within. In regards to my family, to them it's normal, so I I don't use my cane at night. I have a white cane tip. I use that during the day when I am going in and around shopping centres, getting around. It helps people identify that I do have some sort of vision disability, especially if I need to ask for assistance, and I tend to approach women. I just feel comfortable. I also rely on family and friends for assistance at nighttime if we're going to go out somewhere, and they will tell me when there's a step, where the steps are, help me find the edges. We count. So you use like a little tactic that we've learned from when I was a kid, with the help of the Royal Blind Society. So you count steps, and then it enables people to figure out when there's a landing. So when it's when there's a landing, when there's a step coming up, if there's a railing nearby, you let them know, or you just assist them by giving them your elbow and leading them. So you lead in front, and they walk beside you, and you guide them basically, similar to what guide dogs do.
I love that. I love that. Well, one of the things that I've noticed is you must have had a very strong and supportive family. Did your parents have any other kids?
Yeah, so I'm the eldest, and then I have two younger brothers, and we have nieces and nephews floating around somewhere as well. So, I mean, I've changed nappies. I've been, many discrepancies have happened growing up. I've learned how to be the cool auntie. So yeah, we've got a very tight knit. We're very family orientated, being European background. So yeah, by all means, it's been
I
one.
love it. I love it. So having a big family support really makes a difference for a young person. So if you could go back and have a conversation with the younger you, that young girl who was in school, maybe struggling with this or struggling with that and trying to fit in and being bullied sometimes. Based on what life has taught you, what 3 nuggets of wisdom would you go back and tell her?
3 lots of advice that I would pertain to my younger self is, although the bullying will get worse, keep your chin up. Secondly would be find an outlet to channel your energy into. And thirdly, you will achieve great things beyond your even wildest dreams, but you need to persevere. You're a fighter. Keep going.
Absolutely beautiful way to end our interview. Thank you so much for coming online and inspiring us with your story today. I look forward to staying connected with you and hopefully having you speak at one of our conferences. So have a fantastic day. And thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. The Her Story Circle is meeting some pretty phenomenal women from all over the world. So tune in again tomorrow when I interview another amazing woman. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. And Kristen, thanks again for the interview.
Thank you.
Bye for now, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story.